Hi everyone, I'm John Formica. Most people know me as the ex-Disney guy and America's and Australia's best customer experience coach. Why? I spent many years managing the hotels and resorts for the Disney company down in Orlando, Florida. But now I get to travel the world helping businesses just like yours create that same magical experience. And I'm excited to be a part of your team today to help you create that magical customer experience. So let's get started right away. So we all know that Walt Disney was a great dreamer, and he had a great quote. He says, if you dream it, you can do it. So what did he mean by that? Well, he focused on the fact that you have to dream it first before it can come to reality. So what do you dream about for your shops? What do you dream about for lollies and stuff? What do you dream about for guys and stuff? And what do you dream about for delicious desserts? See, if you start thinking about what you want to create at your shops, you have already started the process because you're closer to it than you think. So we're going to kind of help you understand a lot of things that are important as a foundation in creating this magical customer experience. So the first question I'm going to ask you is, what are you selling in your shops? In other words, I know you're selling merchandise, right? You're selling food and beverage at delicious desserts, but what are you really selling? Well, let's look at the Disney example for example. What is Disney really selling? Well, Disney sells imagination, don't they? I mean, if you just look at the parks and the castles, there's a lot of imagination going on. And Disney also sells curiosity. In other words, when you get to Disney, aren't you going to be curious what you're going to see, what you're going to do? Will you see Mickey, right? What will Cinderella look like? All of those things become very curious. And then, of course, those two things combined create happiness, right? Who isn't happy when they go to Disney? Well, what if I told you that your shops sell the same three things? In fact, it's important that they sell those same three things. So let's talk about it. How do they sell imagination? Well, when you think about coming to Lolly and stuff, if you look outside the storefront, isn't the imagination of what's inside, right? What is it going to be like? It looks beautiful on the outside, but what is it going to be like when I'm on the inside, right? And then, of course, in the inside, the curiosity is, man, I got to get one of those big lollipops, right? Or I want to get my pictures taken. That's the imagination and the curiosity that you're really selling in your shops. And of course, because of that, aren't they going to be happy? You better believe they're going to be really happy. And that's what makes your shops so different than everybody else, because you sell imagination, curiosity, and of course you make your people happy. So when Walt said create the dream, he was thinking about how can we create this dream so that everybody understands the most important piece of the business, and that is, what's your purpose? Now, the purpose is the foundation. So if you picture a house, the foundation is what your house sits on. That's how important purpose is. Now, you might have heard terms like a vision statement or mission statement. A vision statement is where you want to go, where do you want to be years from now. A mission statement is going to how you're going to get there, but the most important piece is why. Why do you do what you do? And there's a big example. So let's look at Disney. What do you think Disney's purpose is? Well, why do we go to Disney? Well, we want to go there because they make us happy. And I know in your shops, you make people happy too, but it's more than that. It's why do you want to make people happy? And Walt Disney wanted to make people happy because he wanted to build the happiest place on earth and fill it with happy people, right? And that's what you're trying to create. You want to create the happiest place on earth and in your shops, right? So when you think about what your purpose is, being the foundation, what's the why? What's the reason why you do what you do? So if you look back at Disney, why do they make people happy? Let me share an example of what they do. Because they do it each and every day, as soon as they open up the resorts or the parks, whatever it might be. So let me give you an example. Have you ever thought about when you're at Disney and you're ready to take a picture of your family in front of the Magic Kingdom castle? Out of nowhere comes a Disney cast member willing to take the picture of you in front of the castle. So why do they do that? Because that'll make you happy. It's a great story of a custodial host at Disney where they're sweeping around, and so their job is to make the park clean, right? To whatever area they're assigned to, they're sweeping around making it clean. Well, that's their job, but what's their purpose? To make people happy. So they always have their radar up, always looking for ways to make people happy. So all of a sudden, an elderly couple comes up to this custodial Disney cast member and says, how do I get to Fantasyland? Well, if it's just his job, he's going to go, well, you just follow the walkway, it's down there. But that's not his job. His job is to his purpose is to make people happy. So what he offers to do is let me take you there. And of course, the guests in the parks are like, wow, you don't need to do it. He goes, oh, let me do that. So he puts down his dustpan and broom, and now he goes and escorts them to Fantasyland. And while he's escorting them to Fantasyland, he's learning all about them, where they're from, what they do for a living, their grandkids, all that. So by the time they get to Fantasyland, what did they just create? Well, they created a relationship, but they also created an experience. Why? Because that's what his job is to do, is to make people happy. It could have been just easy, just to give directions, but that might make them happy, but not as happy as escorting them and helping them out. So when he finishes that, he hustles back to his location where he started his job. And the reason why he hustles, because if the area isn't clean, is he making anybody happy? Of course not, right? So he hustles back to his job, and when he goes to go back there, he can't find his dustpan and broom. And when he's looking around, he notices that his boss has his dustpan and broom. Sounds pretty scary, right? Not really. He goes up to his boss. What do you think his boss says to him? Well, the first thing the boss says, sees him in this sense of urgency to get back, says, are you okay? Is there a safety or security issue? And the custodial cast member says, no, I just helped this elderly couple get back to Fantasyland. They were really scared and nervous, so I decided to take them. Well, what does that manager say at Disney? Great job. Great. In fact, that's outstanding. I want to tell more people about the great job that you did. So why is it so important? The reason why it's so important, because at Disney, and this is what we want you to do in your shops as well, we want to make sure that you're making people happy. So at Disney, your purpose is more important than your job, right? If you're making someone happy, that's more important. So think about how that relates to your shops, particularly the merchandise shops, lollies and stuff, and guys and stuff. What's more important, stocking shelves or answering your customers' questions, or engaging with your customers, or welcoming your customers? Your job is to stock the shelves, don't get me wrong. They have to be stocked, otherwise you can't sell anything. But what's more important? What's more important is your purpose, because that comes from your heart. And if your heart's in it, you do it because you want to. And so we want to make sure that you never lose sight of why you were chosen to work at one of those 3 locations. Not because you're such a good worker, which you probably are, but because we want to make sure your heart is in it. So you do it because you want to. And if you do it because you want to, nobody's got to tell you what to do. You just do it automatically. And that's where the magic really begins in your shops. Okay? So again, it's all about making people happy. So what is your purpose? Well, let me give you a couple examples. How about serving others? Isn't that what you do in your shops? Whether you're in the delicious desserts and you're serving them maybe a coffee or a delicious dessert, or maybe you're serving them in guy stuff, with helping them with merchandise, or find a gift that they wanted to give someone special in their life, or lollies and stuff, just visiting and seeing all the fun things that occur in your wonderful store. Serving others is what you do. But in reality, what you have to believe in is that you make a difference. You make a difference. And it's not the merchandise that makes the difference, it's you that makes the difference. And we want to make sure that you come to work every day with your heart in it, doing the best job that you can. And if you do that, things will become magical. Because really, the reality is you're just treating them like a guest. right? They're not customers, they're not clients, they're not transactions, they're guests. So you're welcoming them into your home. That's your shop. And if you welcome them like a guest and you treat them like a guest, you will automatically do things from your heart and take good care of them. Just like you would take care of grandma. If grandma come visit you or a best friend of yours came visit you, you would treat them like a guest, right? Because the magic is really about you, the people. And Walt Disney had a great quote. He said, "You can design and create and build the most wonderful place in the world, but it takes people to make the dream a reality." And think about your wonderful shops, whether it's lollies and stuff, guys and stuff, or delicious desserts, right? They're beautiful buildings. They're beautiful decorations. They're stocked with incredible merchandise and decor, but it's you that makes it magical. When people come into their shops, they're going to remember you. They're not going to remember all the different items that are there. They're going to remember you. You make the difference, right? And so we want to make sure that you understand that you're the face of those three shops. I remember you, and you're the person I'm going to remember. So you become the face of all those three shops. And it's important to put on a good face, right? Because you make the difference, right? We want to make sure that you are making the difference every day by doing the best job you can, by doing things from your heart, not just tasks and responsibilities, which are important, but you want to make sure you're always fulfilling your purpose, and that is serving others and doing the best job that you can, right? So I'm going to give you a little homework assignment. Think about these three questions. The first question is, how do you make a difference with your customers? You as an individual. I know you do it as collectively as a team. You do a great job. But I want you to think about how you make a difference with your customers. And then list some of those things that you do or things you can do, continue to do, right? Second question is, how do you do it differently than your competition? You know, there are other shops that might sell candy or food and beverage or merchandise, but how do you and your shops do it differently than your competition? How do you set yourself apart from everyone else so they think of your shops, not anybody else's? When they come to Windsor, they want to go to your shops, not so much everyone else's, right? That's because the things that you do differently than your competition. And lastly, on your best day at work, what did you love about your job? I hope you loved about taking care of people. I hope you loved about taking care of children and making them laugh. I hope you loved about taking pictures of your customers, either buying merchandise or trying something on or wearing a shirt or tasting a delicious dessert. Because doesn't it make you happy when you do it? So if you're happy, I promise you they'll be happy. And those are the things that you can do every day. And the things that you do that you love about your job, just do it over and over and more often as you can, because it's not an easy job that you do every day. It's a tough job. Those customers can be demanding. There's a lot of volume of people sometimes. Your shops get really busy. But just remember the good things about what you do and how you do it, because you are making a difference in everyone's lives. So go out there and make a difference and help your customers be happy.